Welcome back to the channel. We got France's gourmet school lunches. I always hear about France being so fancy. Just a very fancy place that is about really great quality. So I'm very interested in seeing what the gourmet school lunches are. So with that being said, we're smoking all my dragons, divine righteous, almighty greats, overachieving, never slacking. We are flying over to France, and this is the original link will be in the description. It's from CBS News. Here we go.
A main course, the sauce. Every day has an hors d'oeuvre, a main course, the sauce that changes every day, the cheese that changes
That's
every
the
day.
menu for the lunch program at a public school in Paris. A 5-course meal for 3-year-olds. A menu not only given to parents so they know what their child is having for lunch, it even recommends what families should serve for that night's dinner.
You don't want your child to have fish for lunch and fish for dinner.
Vivian Walt is a writer for Time magazine, and her 3-year-old
I already like how they focus around the kids. That's awesome.
son goes to a public school in Paris, and her experience illustrates just how seriously the French schools approach meals. The menus are designed to provide a balanced meal, but also to introduce children to the tremendous variety of French cuisine. I was there the day they served bouillabaisse, and yeah, that's me in a bunny suit, because they go to extraordinary lengths for food safety. Each of the city's 20 school districts has a central kitchen like this, a high-tech, ultra-hygienic facility, because children, especially young children, are more susceptible to foodborne illnesses. They clean every bottle, every bag.
Round of applause to France. Round of applause. Y'all are amazing. I'm serious. I really mean that. The fact that y'all take the time to care this much to make sure kids are safe, got my respect.
Bag, every piece of fruit.
So there's nothing that leaves this place to the kitchen that has not been disinfected.
The meat, they were proud to tell me, not only born and raised, but
abattu en France.
which even in the U.S. is no guarantee of quality or safety. But in Parisian schools, they keep small samples of every meal for 2 months just in case of any suspect illnesses. And in the U.S., schools generally offer vegetables at lunch, but children just don't eat them. Here, the dietitian isn't above deep frying the broccoli.
Une manière un petit peu cachée de leur faire manger des légumes.
But a bigger concern is the rise in childhood obesity, fueled partly, experts say, by the popularity of fast food.
C'est plus facile, c'est simple. Là, vous voyez, j'avais faim et finalement, je trouve que c'est assez pratique. On est servi rapidement.
One of the very first things that they will always tell you is about how Americans gobble their food. And it's one of the things that drives the French nuts about Americans.
Yeah, okay, but I went to City Hall.
As an American, that's true. It's true. I'm not in denial about it. Have no argument about it. It's the truth. We gobble our food like savages. Most of us, at least.
To talk to the woman in charge of all the public schools in Paris. Rosaille Colombe is her name. And she believes that eating
is also a pleasure because you share with your friends in school, your family at home, and you share some food, but you also share time.
I mean, it's a ritual. You're literally putting, you're consuming, and like if you're eating meat, you're consuming an animal, something that was alive before, or even some people it's fish, some people it's as crazy as it sounds. There's people that eat certain type of like bugs, like that's true. I mean, like snails, right? That's kind of like, yeah.
Time, conversation, and this is also a point that is important to me.
Well, in a Parisian school, the lunch costs around $5, $6, and the family pays what they can afford. The city picks up the rest. But even in a small town 400 miles to the south of Paris, where the budget is about half that, the chef there insists.
C'est pas parce qu'ils n'ont pas le droit de vote qu'on doit se foutre de leur gueule, quoi.
Now, this is Dominique Valadier. He's the chef at a local high school, and he has to feed 800 students every day for the equivalent of about $2.50 a plate. It's ironic because 20 years ago, he was a chef at one of the biggest casinos on the Riviera.
J'ai servi la reine d'Angleterre. Ah ouais, elle a mangé du cassoulet, je m'en rappelle.
But he married a teacher, and when their schedules and vacations, never meshed, he left the Riviera and the Queen to cook for kids, but brought with him his passion for cuisine. He insists everything be made by hand. He refuses to take shortcuts, even making his own fish stock so that nothing goes to waste.
Et c'est bien meilleur, parce que ça a beaucoup de goût, beaucoup de force.
Most mornings he goes to the market.
Je cherche les légumes qui viennent d'ici, le plus possible.
The menu that day included roast beef, handmade ratatouille turnovers, carrot salad, and mussels, all fresh. And just as younger children are introduced to typical French cuisine, at this school, kids are eating escargot. Yeah, that's snails. One student even feels it's better than...
That's what I was thinking. I knew I wasn't tripping out there. Escargot. I know that was in like a couple rap songs too, American rap songs, when they would talk about going to France and eating escargot. So actually, one of my clients, we were talking about it, I mentioned escargot, and they were like, I'm not eating snails. But hey, the French don't work that out. So it's popular. It's popular. I mean,
than what he's getting at home.
At home, I mean, I eat the usual thing, normal things like everybody do, pasta, like pizza, normal. And when you get here, it's really good for your health.
The French, as we know, are proud of their cuisine, which is why Vivian, you remember Vivian, well, when her son started nursery school, she'd signed him up for the lunch program, then decided maybe she'd bring him home, feed him, he could take a short nap. She neglected to tell the administration, and one day got a phone call requesting that she come to the school immediately.
I thought something was really wrong with my son. I ran out the door, I ran down the street, run up to her office, walk in, and she's sitting there with my file in front of her, and she says, "What does your son eat for lunch?" Because, of course, we had signed him up for the lunch program, and I had changed my mind without letting them know.
So Vivian agreed that her son would eat lunch at school every day and was sent home with a menu detailing what the child would be eating every day for the next 2 months. Mm-hmm.
This, to me, is a work of art. And these are 3-year-olds we're talking about.
3-year-olds. I mean, shout out to France. That was awesome, personally. Like, the fact that they put so much focus into making sure that kids, that the students are eating healthy and getting the nutrition and the things that they deserve so they could function properly is something that I think is deserves a round of applause. Especially, coming from America where there's so much unhealthy foods. There's so much foods that we think is healthy that ain't even really healthy. There's so much going on. To see that prioritized somewhere else, to me, is very impressive. And it says a lot about the people that they care that much. When you... what they say, you are what you eat. I believe that. I definitely believe that for sure. Because if you constantly eating, let's say, sugar or things that are unhealthy, that can be a drug. I was actually not too long ago talking about how I remember when I was a kid and I was in a cafeteria and there was this one kid who came in his lunch, and when he opened his lunch pail, nothing but sweets, nothing but cookies in there. And I remember the lunch monitors getting upset and they were yelling, they went to go call his mom. Now, when I was talking about the story, someone asked me about what happened after they called their mom. I do not remember. I only remember this kid opening up the lunch pail and it was nothing but sweets in there. So the effect that would have on a child, that's a drug at that point. You know, that causes disabilities. It really does. So everything that they're doing right there is a blessing, and it was very, very nice to see that. Shout out to France. With that being said, man, original link in the description, and I'll be back with more soon. Much love, yeah.